This is the only spaghetti and meatballs recipe that you will need. I'm going to show you what's the secret behind getting the perfect flavor into those meatballs. The full recipe and instructions will be on the website, linked in the description box down below. I promise you, these will be the best meatballs that you'll ever have, so let's get to it. So we'll start with preparing the mix for our meatballs. So in a bowl, add in some panko, breadcrumbs, and then add in some milk. Mix that all really well and then just let that soak for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the milk has completely been absorbed by those breadcrumbs. This is going to help add some body and keep our meatballs nice and fluffy inside. Next, start adding in your ground beef and your veal as well. The meat's from a local butcher, so it does not have that fake pink color. Then I just added in some finely grated parmesan, then some finely chopped flat leaf parsley, then some minced garlic, some chopped red onions, and then finally our soaked panko breadcrumbs. Then I'm going to add in 1 egg yolk, and let me show you how I do that. So crack an egg exactly in half and then just move the egg yolk from one half to the other as the egg white just drips into a bowl or container down below. That egg yolk will help with binding the meatballs. Then add in some salt to your preference. Now, a good way to test raw mince if it's enough seasoning is 1, either by intuition, or 2, just cook a small bit of the final mince. Then add in some black pepper as well to your taste, and now we're on to our mixing step. Now you really want to make sure that you mix this mince really well. If you have a stand mixer, do it there. That's the best and easiest way. But if you don't, it's going to be kind of hard to do it with a spatula. Try using a wooden spoon, or if you really want to get your hands dirty, go right in with your hands. And I think we did a bang up job here in really mixing that well. And now all we have to do is divide this up into our meatball portions. So a full recipe will yield 6 large meatballs. Now, yesterday I put up a poll to really find out how you enjoy your meatballs, and at the time of recording this video, looks like it was a tie between in a sub or with spaghetti. Well, my favorite way is with spaghetti, with this dish, so you really cannot go wrong with this recipe. We're now heating our pan here, a non-stick pan, on medium heat, and we're going to add in a nice film of olive oil in there and then start searing up those meatballs before adding it to the sauce. Now we want to give each of these meatballs a really good sear on as many sides as we can, and then finish cooking in the marinara. I prefer and always advocate to browning your meatballs first in a pan separately and then finishing it in the sauce. I personally cannot stand meatballs that have been just boiled, poached in the marinara, because then you just get gray congealed meatballs. Not my thing. Sear it and then finish it, and you have a ton of flavor packed within the meatballs that then also gets added to the sauce. Why would you say no to more flavor? Talking about flavor, that's the flavor that I'm talking about. Just look at how beautiful that golden brown crust on that meatball looks compared to just boiling that in a sauce. Have I changed your mind yet? Now I use a spoon to really help make sure that I don't crush any of the meatballs, and just so that I have full control when I'm turning it to sear the other sides. This pan is looking truly divine. And just to remind you, we don't have to cook the meatballs all the way through at this stage. Just get them some beautiful color and we'll finish it in the sauce. And while that happens, my pasta water is at a rolling boil, which I've already seasoned with salt. Add in your spaghetti, and once the ends have started to soften, just twist that into the pasta water to completely submerge. We're cooking this until al dente. If you live to cook and you want to take your cooking skills to the next level, then be sure to subscribe to this channel. I have a couple of years of experience working at a professional kitchen, and I hope to use those skills to really show you how to get the food from your fridge to the table in the most efficient and most delicious way possible. And talking about delicious, I want you to tell me how you feel about these meatballs dancing in that pan. Don't they look fabulous? Let me know down below. And our marinara is nice and warm as well. I've reheated it. I made it earlier today. Full recipe down below. And then add in all of your cooked meatballs into that pan and then smother them with our beautiful marinara sauce. We want to make sure that now we let this simmer on a low heat, and just to help add some extra flavor into our sauce, more flavor than what our meatballs added, is add in a bit of butter right down the middle, and in about 10 minutes or so, those meatballs will be ready. That is a beautiful scene, and it brings a tear to my eyes. You know, there might be lots of people hovering around the internet who don't know which video to click on. So click like on this video so those guys can check out this recipe for the ultimate spaghetti with meatballs. Alright, so I've mixed in all of that butter into that sauce, and now just to help mix in our spaghetti, because remember, that's cooking, don't let it overcook. Temporarily move the meatballs into a separate plate, and once we've done that, then add in all of that beautiful al dente spaghetti into your pot of or pan of marinara, and then toss that really well. Yes, technically you can just have a bowl full of noodles and then pour the marinara on top, but that's no fun. You really want to make sure each strand of that spaghetti is covered with our delicious marinara. And just at your own risk, if you feel comfortable, try tossing the marinara to really mix that in to that spaghetti. Marinara surprisingly tosses really well. And now it's time to bring the meatballs back home, add them back into that pan, and we are ready to now finish off this dish. So start by topping off all of those beautiful meatballs and some of that pasta with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and then top each of those meatballs with some basil. You can put as much or as little basil as you want, and by the end of it you'll end up with something that looks as pretty as this pan. This pan looks so good, I don't want to eat it, I don't want to touch it, but I have to. I told you I was going to make the best spaghetti and meatballs that you ever had, and here's what we have. Now share this recipe with somebody who would want to make spaghetti and meatballs for their date night. And if you want to enjoy meatballs in other ways, check out my meatball casserole and my meatball sub. And for more pasta recipes, click the links over here.